In our work, we see cases where delays and mistakes have had a serious and adverse effect on people's lives and their health. Mr. P lived in London. He complained to us about the UK Border Agency. He had suffered the humiliation of being escorted from his workplace by security guards when the agency mishandled and delayed his application for a residence card. Mr. P had the right to live and work in the UK and had applied to the agency for a residence card to prove this to his potential employers. It usually takes up to 6 months for the agency to consider an application. Mr. P had found a job and his employer contacted the agency to check that it was okay for him to work while his application was being considered. They told his employer that Mr. P could work, but to check again in 12 months' time. 7 months after Mr. P's initial application, and despite him chasing the agency about it, it had still not been approved. He was anxious for a decision and complained to the agency about the delay. 2 months later, Mr. P's MP also complained to the agency on his behalf. The agency apologised and told Mr. P he could work while the application was being considered, but the agency failed to make a decision.
The whole application process was a constant waiting game. My wife began to suffer from depression, she had to take time off work and eventually take a less stressful job. Before this, she had been preparing for a promotion. We felt like we were falling apart.
Mr. P continued to chase the agency about his application. He received another apology and was again assured that it would be dealt with, but still nothing happened. As instructed, Mr. P's employers checked again with the agency that Mr. P could continue to work while his application was being decided. This time the answer was no. When Mr. P found out, he instructed solicitors. Their intervention led to the agency approving his application, but they did not tell Mr. P that. Without proof of his right to work, Mr. P's employers decided they could no longer employ him.
One day I was called into the HR office and they showed me a letter from the UK Border Agency saying they could no longer employ me. I felt completely shocked. They then had a security guard escort me from the premises. This was embarrassing. I felt ashamed.
Finally, more than a year after he had applied for it, Mr. P's residence card came through and he was able to return to work.
During the whole experience with the UK Border Agency, I felt that no one wanted to listen to me. The experience was very frustrating. I wanted to know why it had taken so long.
When we looked into Mr. P's complaint, we found that the agency had done absolutely nothing to progress the application for more than 9 months. We upheld his complaint. We told the agency that they should apologise to Mr. P for his experience. We also said they should pay his legal costs and a further £500 in recognition of the inconvenience, embarrassment and frustration they had caused him.